From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for complete Marshall University news. You're watching MU Report.
Good afternoon, I'm Jake Griffith.
And I'm Samantha Godby. Welcome to MU Report, our sixth and final statewide show of the fall 2016 semester. This newscast is coming to you from the studios of Marshall University with news from around the campus and the community. We're glad you're joining us here on West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Now, on to our top story. A possible terrorist attack on a university campus has students and families everywhere nervous, and authorities everywhere reviewing their response plans. Police say an Ohio State University student deliberately plowed his car into a group of people on the campus in Columbus last week. He then got out and began stabbing people with a butcher knife before a police officer shot and killed him. 11 people were injured.
The violent attack on Ohio State's campus has naturally sent shock waves across the country, including here at Marshall. Elena Connor joins us now in the newsroom to share what she learned about campus safety from the Marshall Police Department. Elena?
Thanks, Jake. After times of crisis, we often ask, what if that happened here? So I turned to the experts to find out how Marshall should react if a similar situation takes place on our campus.
Walking to class felt much like the same routine to Marshall students today. However, the same is not true for Ohio State.
Ohio State used run, hide, fight, which is a basic concept. You either evacuate and get away from the situation, you hide in a secure location, barricade the door, turn off your cell phone, put it on vibrate, and fight is the last resort.
No student pictures themselves in an attack situation. Most students see campus as a place to socialize and have fun. But it is important to be aware of one simple rule.
Trust your instincts. If you feel like there's something going on or you hear that there's something going on, a loud noise that sounds like gunshots, trust your instincts. Get away from the situation, hide or barricade yourself in, or if you have to, at last resort, fight.
That was Elena Connor reporting. Instead of violence, some Marshall students are learning more about civility, working things out with respect for an opponent rather than hurting someone we disagree with by making them feel inferior. Alexander Hefner, the host of the PBS show Open Minds, engaged students recently in ways to communicate without hate speech. The event comes on the heels of a very bitter political season. Hefner cautioned against an especially harmful addition to the American conversation, the rise of fake news stories passed off as true.
We've seen a breakdown of civility, and we need really to reconcile the desire to upset the status quo in our political life. Reconcile that with the idea that we are grounded in and have to be grounded in basic norms of decency and law.
Hefner says sticking to the facts and reading credible news sources instead of online blogs are good starting points to help heal a divided nation.
Even if more people stop shouting at each other, some students say they remain openly afraid due to recent events, especially students of different faiths and ideas. Breon Taylor has more on how one organization is standing up for those individuals here on campus.
In the wake of the recent election, hate crimes and threats against minorities of different races, sexual orientation, and religious groups have been on the rise.
A lot of various groups have been feeling have been really worried and have been scared of maybe the backlash, and there have been a lot of incidents throughout the country of Muslims being targeted.
Since the recent election, there have been many threats and attacks against Muslims, particularly Muslims who wear the headscarf.
I think that it provides more fear than we usually do. For example, I have friends that are now fearful to walk to their cars at night, which they've never had that issue prior to these events.
The Muslim Student Organization came out today to bring awareness and gain support to prevent these recent attacks occurring on campuses around the world.
It is that if any group is willing to trying to do like a solidarity thing, they're willing to support and be there for them, because obviously the Muslim women aren't the only groups affected, so we're just trying to spread the word.
Organizers say, as a gesture of love and support, take a stand with them. Breon Taylor, MU Report.
If you'd like to know more about Marshall's Muslim Student Organization or any group on campus, you can check out the help desk in the Student Center.
Despite disagreements between different people throughout the community, there is one thing they came together to agree on: As Tom Jenkins reports, the recently passed brunch bill may help give students and other Huntington residents a new reason to get together.
Cabell County will become the next West Virginia county to approve the brunch bill. The bill allows restaurants to sell alcohol at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Prior to this, restaurants were only allowed to begin serving alcohol after 1 p.m. on Sundays. The bill was created in hopes to bring in tourism and more business to West Virginia.
I think that was the whole idea of it to start with, was to change the law, was to bring more business, and I think it will do that because, like I said, what's going to happen is you're going to have people, from surrounding areas that come downtown to brunch.
Bartenders and business owners call the time from when they open on Sundays through the afternoon the brunch rush. This often brings in a lot of customers coming home from church, and some bartenders believe this was the reason for the original law in the first place.
The reason it was so controversial probably had a lot to do with the religion. A lot of churchgoers come in on Sunday morning. There's like 3 different lunch rushes on Sunday, the brunch rush.
For Huntington, this could be just one step closer to connecting the students of Marshall to the downtown Huntington area. Business owners believe that the bill will bring in new business, including Marshall students.
When you give people a reason to come downtown, they check it out. They might have brunch, they might walk over to Pullman, they might have coffee, they might do that. If they do, it brings them downtown, it gets them downtown, then they'll keep coming back.
West Virginians will decide in the coming months whether or not the bill truly does have an effect on Huntington's economy. Tom Jenkins, MU Report.
With all precincts reporting, the brunch bill passed in Cabell County with nearly 19,000 votes for and about 13,000 votes against the earlier sale of alcohol.
Marshall students and faculty are working together to improve accessibility for those who are disabled on campus. Marshall's Office of Disability Services says it's always looking for new ways to make the campus and its activities easier for everyone. Marshall hosted its first ever job fair for students with disabilities this semester. And according to the director at the Office of Disability Services, the virtual environment helps all types of students get acquainted with the idea of job interviews.
Most people look at it as students who have a physical disability who may have issues getting to these places. However, if you sit and you think about it, you have students that we service that have anxiety disorders, and you put them in a large room with all of these different agencies and companies and people just walking around, and that causes a lot of anxiety for our students, and we wanted them to feel comfortable and confident.
Baloo says there are some things her students bring to her attention that able-bodied people just don't think about, and that is something that we need to work on.
His arms were limited to be able to reach up to push buttons, and the buttons were up too high for him to be able to reach to push to even be able to get onto the elevator. And not only was that an issue, but they had trash cans sitting in front of the buttons, so he wasn't even able to get close enough if he could reach the buttons to be able to get to the buttons.
There's little things that could be improved, like the desks in the rooms and stuff where you have to like push them and roll them. Like I know I've had to been getting a lot of help with that. And then some of the doors, the handicap buttons work, but then others they don't. And then I know Smith, they have a sliding door, but you have to walk completely to the other side to get to it.
Disability advocates say Marshall is flat, which is a big advantage to start. It's one of the main reasons visually impaired students choose Marshall University, and it also helps with wheelchair mobility. If you want to get involved, the Disability Office says you can volunteer to be a note taker in your classes for people who need extra help.
Getting people around campus is one thing, but getting students home for the holidays this year is another. As Chantel Foster reports, Marshall is spreading cheer with a shuttle service to help Marshall students get home in time for the winter break.
Hot cocoa with marshmallows and warm cookies fresh from the oven always taste better when they come from home. And that's exactly where Marshall Student Affairs Office wants to get you for Christmas. Get Home for the Holidays is a shuttle service offered for Marshall students during the time of Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, the biggest thing is during finals and everything, we really don't want students to be worried about having to get home. We really just want them to have an option, and Student Affairs is really just there to help the students. That's what we're here for. So really, we're just there to take a little bit off of their workload.
The shuttle will go both to the Tri-State Airport and Yeager Airport so students can catch their flights home. Metzger says over the past 3 years, this program has been a success with N2 students and keeps growing larger with others across campus.
Many students have thanked us for it. Parents have emailed us thanking us for our help. So it's really grown over the past particular 2 years.
An empty campus and a full house during Christmas is what the program Get Home for the Holidays is all about. Chantel Foster, MU Report.
Any students needing to schedule a pickup time for the shuttle can visit www.marshall.edu/parents to register.
While many Marshall students will be going home for the holidays, some may have to call a new place home, at least temporarily. As Danielle Wright reports, international students are making the holiday season in America into a learning experience.
Winter break is approaching, and thoughts of gifts and great food are in the air. As many students prepare to pack their bags to head home for the holiday season, some don't have the luxury of going home.
Obviously, I miss home because I miss my friends back there, because whenever we get a break, we used to go around India, so that's all right. But yeah, anyway, it's a new experience, so no regrets.
Marshall's Into program offers dinner in an American home year-round to help international students adapt to the American culture. The holiday season is where most international students utilize this opportunity.
I want an international student to come home with me because then they can see our traditions and cultures and how we function and operate over breaks.
International students are still learning over the winter break. While they may be missing out on quality time with friends and family, they're still getting a chance to travel outside of Huntington to take in the American culture. Though 1,000 miles away from home, love and joy are within arm's reach. Danielle Wright, MU Report.
Marshall students interested in taking an international student home with them for the holidays can visit the Into Center on campus for more information.
International students were able to get a little deeper into American culture at this year's Intercultural Students Weekend. Nearly 100 minority students from high schools across West Virginia visited the university campus. As Cassell Lim reports, the event may help to increase enrollment for the upcoming spring semester.
About 100 minority high schoolers across West Virginia with the highest academic accomplishments gathered in one place at one time over a weekend celebration to learn more about Marshall University.
It is really critical to the success of our mission and to the success of students is that we strive to have students who would attend and study together from all over the globe, and which will include as many races and cultures and ethnicities and subcultures as we possibly can. It enriches the lives of everyone.
Cooley said 40% of the students who attended this event typically enroll into Marshall. He also said it contributes to Marshall's relatively high retention and graduation rate of minorities compared to other universities in the area. All of the high schoolers are either in their junior or senior year. To us, it might just be a weekend on campus, but to most of these students, they say it's a privilege to have this learning experience as minorities.
It really just opened my eyes to a lot of different parts of Marshall, that there's not just one, like Marshall's not just a university, there's so many different factions within it, and it's so different and diverse.
It's this special place, Marshall University, and they're all there together. And you know, you have to imagine that many of these students come from small and middle-sized schools, and they're among just a few people of the minority groups who have excelled academically.
The Intercultural Students Weekend learning experience might just be a once-in-a-lifetime experience where they will get the best out of the university, being introduced to the life they are going to have after enrollment. Cassell Lim, MU Report.
Organizers of the event say the simple act of coming together puts many from other countries in a better frame of mind. And as mentioned, it puts Marshall on the top of high schoolers' minds who are thinking about making their next move.
Well, that's all the time we have today for this edition of MU Report. This show will also re-air Monday at 1 p.m. right here on West Virginia Public Broadcasting, but we're always on YouTube and we're always looking for news that affects the Marshall community. Thanks for tuning in this semester, and we'll see you again in the spring. I'm Samantha Godby.
And I'm Jake Griffith. Have a great day. Happy holidays, everyone.